I was in the middle of my set having a great time, and I do this bit where I make fun of the troops a little bit, you know what I mean? And it's not even, it's not even remotely, it's like a hilarious bit. The first time I did it at a VFW to make sure that, the way I was doing it, I did it in front of the troops. They were all dying laughing. I mean, those guys there that lost their legs over there and shit, and they were still laughing. They loved the bit. So I do the bit there. And I've moved on from the bit, and at this point I'm making fun of ISIS. And all of a sudden this guy walks all the way up from the back of the room. And fortunately the chairs were like where he couldn't get all the way up to the front. He starts yelling at me, pointing at the stage, going, "Hey, show some respect." That's what he started seeing. I'm trying to have his YouTube moment. You know what I mean? And I was like, what? Show some respect for what? He's like, the military. He's doing one of those things. Like, I love how the military is just so off limits now. That we support the troops. You just have to constantly be blowing the military. That you can't even make fun of somebody in the Navy who all he does is swab the decks. And is getting a standing ovation walking through the airport. I've done that in front of so many troops. They've all found it funny. Show some fucking respect. Oh my God, I went off on that guy. Why don't you show some respect and lose some weight, you fat, for your fellow American, for every time you get the middle seat on a flight and your fat man tits spill into the other. I'm so sick. I'm so sick of everybody being so goddamn offended at comedy shows and just making the whole moment about themselves. Mouth-breathing chimp. Jesus Christ. If you can see through the, whatever that expression is, see the forest through the trees with all of this shit, I just can't help you. And considering all the shit that I had said up until that point, I didn't show any remote respect for anything. Every fucking subject. That's what kills me. I blamed women for harassment. That's how I started my show. Where were the tea during that one? Fat. Oh my God, I was so mad at that guy. I hated that security escorted him out. I appreciated that they did that, thinking that I wanted to it. I wanted to talk to that guy for the rest of the show. Walks all the way up. He was waiting for his Oprah round of applause. When I told him to go himself, everybody laughed. I can't believe that, that's the classic thing at like a comedy show that usually ends up on the internet. You know what I mean? That self-righteous douchebag. You know what I mean? Where everything else that I said up to that point was so ridiculous and absurd, and then that's the one that you're going to take seriously. Like, what kind of a moron? That's what I was saying to this guy. It's like, do you really think I'm anti my own country, you dumb? And when you guys come out to my show, when you see the bit, okay, it's so pedestrian, it's ridiculous. Even when I did the bit at the VFW, the troops came up to me. He's like, yeah, we say that to each other. But this guy had to fucking, take his hair out of his ponytail, tossle it around, and have his big head rolling moment. Kill yourself. I hope you have a heart attack, you fat. You know what it was if he didn't like the bit, then heckle me. The fact that he came up there and he's like pointing at me, yelling at me like I'm his kid and he's my dad. Ugh. Anyways, let me. Other than that, the gig in Reno was awesome. And I gotta be telling you that was actually more upsetting to me than watching my lose the Super Bowl. All right. Anyways, so I want to thank everybody that came out in Reno. Even the douche that tried to interrupt my show and have a YouTube moment. Love that city, man. I had such a great time. I went up there and I worked with my buddy Rick D'Elia, who we started out together way back in Boston in 1992. I think he maybe started like a month before. We were trying to figure out who started before, but I always remembered seeing him. And, seeing a friend, Jesus Christ, I mean, I've known him for 26 years. I've actually known him longer than the age we were at when we met each other. So it was, just all the stories were coming out. And when he brought me up, he actually made a reference to this hell gig that we did. Nick's Comedy Stop, where I started. I remember that was such a big deal to work at that comedy club. It was just a legendary place. It was the house that, Steve Sweeney and Don Gavin and all those guys built. And we were both, no-name comics, just past being open micers, had started hosting in outside rooms, rooms and all of that. And Rita from Nick's called us up to do a private gig for Nick's Comedy Stop. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, things are finally starting to happen. And, me and D'Elia found out, we were working with each other, which should have been a red flag right there. Going like, they called you too? Oh my God. They believe in us, right? That should have been a red flag right there, because both of us should have been opening for somebody who knew what they were doing. But instead, we show up. It was the Fisherman's Feast in the north end of Boston, which is the Italian section, or at least it was back in the day. I don't know what goes on there now. Everything, the prices, they just driven any sort of culture has been removed, which is why I like going to so-called B, C, and D level cities, because there's still that unique vibe there. You'll go there and see stuff that you don't see in every other city. The same 10 corporate chains and whatever. Everybody walking around with their Instagram look on their face, So anyways, we show up to this gig. It's outside, literally in the streets. Did I tell this story last week? I can't remember. And there was like a band on stage. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore, right? And all the Italians are sitting there singing, and you really just feel this great sense of family, tradition, and culture. And now you got these two pasty-faced, at least Rick was half Italian, I'm German, Irish, just standing there with my fire engine red hair. So D'Elia goes on. Nobody has any idea what's like. It's like, now we got a little comedy. And people are like, what the f*** is this guy talking about? And then D'Elia goes on stage trying to smile through probably the biggest panic of his life. And I remember wanting to laugh at him, but I couldn't, because I knew I had to go on next. So whatever he was feeling, I was about to feel. But at least and for me, it was going to be worse. Because at least before he went on stage, he had hope. Like, well, maybe this will be good. But when I saw Rick go on stage, I had confirmation that this was not going to be good. I just remember him just interrupting this great party, which is so many of the early stand-up gigs, just interrupting something that everyone was totally enjoying, and they really don't need you, and then they don't know that you're coming up there, and then you go up there, and they're like, what the is this? All I remember was when I went on stage bombing and just looking up and seeing all these old Italian ladies hanging out the window, just looking down at us like what the is this? And just afterwards, I forget, we probably walked out of there. There's no subway stop. We walked over to our cars. I don't even remember. Well, anyway, it was great to work with him. But, by the way, Billy's is continuing with his getting in great shape, man. I've made my goal is, turning 50 in June, through years of doing stand-up comedy and trying to get a positive out of a negative. 5 people showed up. What do I do here? Do I give in to the fact that there's 5 people, or do I make those 5 people, which they brought another 50? You know what I mean? I don't know. When you're in this business, the greatest thing about this business, unless you knew somebody when you got into it, most people get into it and they don't know anybody and they have no idea what to do. And they're standing out in the street in broad daylight in the Italian section of Boston, eating your red. I mean, if you don't figure out a positive mindset, you're really not gonna survive. So I'm turning 50, which I used to think was going to be devastating. I'm actually really excited to try to get myself in the best shape I've been in about 20 years. So I'm trying to get down to my basically the weight I was at when in the shape I was in when I started. Now, I'm obviously going to fall short because no matter what I do, I'm about 30 years older. But that's not what it's about. It's about going for it, and I'll still, So anyways, I have a weight that I want to get into. My shoulder, the rotator cuff feels great. And I finally have been able to get a regimen between all the information that I've gotten over the last year. And I've put together a program that is really working for me. And I have to tell you, you know what I did the other day? Other than taking my beautiful daughter to the park on the swing, which I think I'm going to do again today. It's my favorite thing ever, is she was on the swing. And I was able, once I got the swing going, because I can finally lift my right arm over my head. I haven't been able to take my shirt off with both. I've had to take it off my left hand. I haven't been able to take my shirt off with both hands in like over a year and a half, which is up my closing bit, everybody, because I really try to get sexy in the end, I was actually able to reach up and hold on to like the bar above the swing, and I made sure I didn't put any weight on the arm. All the weight was obviously, my feet were still on the ground, and I just gave it a little bit of stretch, and it was this tightness but not pain. Because what happens, I found, anybody else going through this shit, is when you have an injury like that, you get into this protective, like the way you hold yourself, and crazy, man. Like having not put my hand above my head for over a year, like I can't physically do it anymore because those tendons don't get stretched, and all this shit just, I don't know, grows over it or whatever. It's weird. It doesn't feel like pain. It's like there's a doorstop or a governor. I just can't go any further. So, after doing all these other exercises, I end with that, and it feels tremendous. And it was funny. I was doing that while watching the Super Bowl, and one of these other Patriots fans was laughing at me like, dude, you're really getting into this game. And I was like, no, sorry, man. I'm just working out my shoulder. So anyways, I hope that helps anybody out there that has that issue. So I'll actually be able to work out. But the great thing is I've discovered bands, working out with bands, in a door jam and all that, which is really going to help me on the road. And I think I'm done with the weightlifting for a long time. That's kind of what got me into this, years of weightlifting and not doing enough back exercises. And the front part of my body was way stronger than the back, and it pulled my shoulders forward, and one of them came up. And then I, was bench pressing, and just the bones, I don't know, the rotator cuff tendon just rubbed on it and got inflamed. And then I was just, and it's really something that if it ever happens again, I'll be able to get out of it in like, 6 to 8 weeks. But I just didn't know what to do. I thought, this will work itself out. And then they just became all glued up. So anyways, if you ever gone through anything just remotely physical like that, to finally just be able to take your shirt off or brush your teeth, you know what I mean? Or put the shaving cream on my head when I go to shave my head. I always had to put it in the left hand, Yes. All right.
transgender athletes. I don't understand that, you know? I understand it if, you know, you want to switch around. I don't give a shit. But I'm a sports fan. That's a really new concept to me, that you can be a dude, right? Ranked 80th in the fucking world. You have your cut off, you put on a sports bra, and now you're the #1 tennis player in the world, just coming out there with your man shoulders. That doesn't seem fair. I might be wrong. I might just be an old guy. I have no idea. Well, I'm hearing rumors like some of them are getting into that MMA. You can't have that shit. Am I nuts? That is a useless dude beating the shit out of a woman. Jesus Christ. He might as well hit her with his discarded like a flashlight. Hold still. No, it's grounded. Her grounded pound is incredible. Let's bring him to a nice, normal, mainstream topic so everybody can drive home happy, no fights, all right? Sound good? All right, great. Let's talk abortion. There you go. Pro-choice always made sense to me because I don't like people telling me what to do. And I always just like, it's your body. Who the f*** am I to tell you what to do with your body? So that always made sense. However, I still think you're killing a baby. See? That's where it gets weird. Pro-choice people are like, well, it's not a life yet. It's not a baby yet. May or may not be true. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But I'll tell you, my gut tells me that doesn't make sense. It's not a baby yet. That would be like if I was making a cake and I poured some batter in a pan and I put it in the oven, and then 5 minutes later you came by and you grabbed the pan, you threw it across the floor, and I went, what the f***? You just ruined my birthday cake. And then you were like, well, that wasn't a cake yet. Well, it would have been if you didn't do what you just did. There would have been a cake in 50 minutes. Something happened to that cake, you cake murdering son of a... Right? No, I think I know. I think I know how to raise a kid. You know what it is? You just play catch with them. That's how you raise a kid. You play catch with them. You just talk about life. You distract them by throwing the ball. They don't even notice. You're filling their heads up with your theories. Right? You don't do it the old school way, the way your parents used to. Sit down across from you. You want to tell me about your day? Right? What's that, son? We're not going to church today. That. That's all a bunch of bullshit. God's everywhere, but I got to go down there to see him? Really? And he's mad at me down there and I owe you money? Go f*** yourself. It's not down, it's in here. They try to take it. It's in here. You do something good, you feel good. You do something bad, you feel bad, you know? Unless you're like a sociopath and you don't feel shit. Unless you got somebody duct taped upside down in your apartment, you know? And if you do something like that, I want you to feel like you can come to me, you know? Yeah, come to me, confess all of that. We'll go down to the precinct, we'll tell them everything. Yeah, I'm gonna turn you in. This isn't Dexter. What are you mind? Let's have a little empathy here. Put yourself in a lesbian's shoes. Who do lesbians date? Women. Who do they do they move in with? Women. Who do they get in relationships with? Women. Who do they eventually marry? Women. And I was thinking like, oh my God, I did that. I know what it's like to live with one of those things. I know exactly what that, it's hopeless. Trying to make them happy. Hey, I bought you the shiny thing. Did I do it right? Huh? Trying to get them to take responsibility for their actions. Not gonna happen. The best you're gonna get is I'm sorry, but I know what it's like to be winning an argument. You're winning. And then they turn it around. They're crying. You're apologizing. You're thinking, what the f*** happened? How am I losing this shit? I had you on the rope. You feel so dumb. You gotta go for a walk. And you're just thinking, how did I lose again? And then you figure it out. It makes you feel stupid. And then you see some bald idiot with a giant orange mustache. And you're like, you know what? Why don't you take some of that shit? Now look, I know you're not supposed to make fun of fat people. I understand, all right? I don't know why, though. Why? They're not a race. They're not a religion. It's totally curable. Eat an apple and go for a walk. You know? Why are you yelling at everybody else? What are you giving me shit for? All right? You put the cookies in there. I didn't. How is this my problem? Jesus Christ, you ate your way in, you can walk your way out. All right? And just slowly start shedding the pounds. Shove some lettuce in there instead of a bunch of ho-hos, and it's gonna come down, And then you're on my side of the fence, right? Join me. Come on, say it with me. Shame. Shame. Right? I always say my wife, when my wife was pregnant, I would say my wife, you know, she's pregnant. And then I always have these people that, excuse me, you're supposed to say we're pregnant? You're supposed to say we're pregnant? It's like, well, I'm not a seahorse. So, I'm not pregnant. My wife is pregnant. Look at her. She's putting on weight. Her feet are swelling up. You know, she's miserable. Miserable. I'm still doing pull-ups. I'm crushing it while being pregnant. I'm still drinking, smoking. Yeah. I saw a woman a couple months back, professional soccer player, right? She goes on to ESPN or one of these sports channels, and she starts going like, I don't understand. How come female athletes don't make as much as male professional athletes? Right? And all of these men had to sit there and act like they didn't know what the answer was. They had to sit there like dumbfounded, like, oh, I don't know. Why is that? That is a conundrum. I have no idea. Literally, I'm sitting at home screaming at the TV because you don't sell any tickets. Nobody is going to women's soccer games. You're playing in a 20,000-seat arena. 1,500 people show up. That's not a good night. The promoter lost his ass on that gig.
What I love about sports is it's a great way to tap out from the news and just, you know, watch a game and get away from it. And now there's like all these causes are getting like attached to it. Like I was watching the World Series, and I'm in the middle of watching the World Series, and out of nowhere they have this moment, stand up to cancer. I'm watching a ball game, and all of a sudden everybody stands up holding up a sign of somebody that they either know that's dying of cancer or died of it in the middle of the game. It's just like, what are you doing? Trying to watch a game here. You know, no, there's a time and a place. Look, I know somebody that has died of cancer. I would never go to the movies with you and in the middle of it hit pause and be like, oh, by the way, Conan, I know this guy. He died of cancer. It was horrific. I could have lifted him up off the sheet with 2 fingers. It was horrible. Hey, enjoy. Oh, by the way, I got molested when I was 9. Enjoy the rest. No, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the is going on. But I think white women started it. It's the worst. It's all they do is and complain. I had no idea how difficult it was to be a white woman in the United States of America. Evidently, it's really difficult. Yeah, they're always. Do you have any idea what it's like to be me? Well, I imagine it would be slightly less awesome than my life. What happened to you today, sweetheart, huh? Did they not chill your rosé? You know? Was the trolley not running down at the mall? What happened? No, it's unreal. I'm really annoyed how white women have the balls to throw my white privilege in my face. You know? Sort of separate themselves from these white males with their white male privilege. It's like, you're sitting in the jacuzzi with me. What are you talking about? Yeah, quit and whining. Look, here's a little caveat here, so you don't think I'm a complete asshole right out of the gate. All right, if you live in some honey boo boo lifestyle on the Appalachian Trail, you know, your uncle just banged you in the dirt. All right.
So your Christian background is part of the show. Or
yes, and I wanted to talk to you about Jesus after this.
Well, the only reason why I bring it up is some people thought maybe you went a little too far. You know.
As far as what?
Well, they thought that maybe you were being disrespectful to the Christian religion.
Who did?
I'm telling you, you need to Google.
Oh, good Lord.
So did you feel you were being disrespectful, or just you were just having fun with some of the crucifixes and stuff like that?
I don't even know what I mean, we did maybe 2 jokes about that?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you think the Catholic Church went a little too far? More so than my cartoon.
All right, listen.
A couple of jokes. I know this is a morning show. You can't bring up all those crimes.
You know what? Technically,
they just sort of kept moving them around. You know, like those killer whales at SeaWorld, after it kills a trainer, they'll then move it up to Seattle. They don't give them their background.
All right, I'm not totally following, but I don't think
you
I
know
want
what I'm talking about. It's a morning show. I understand.
I
came on. That kid missed the graduation, and then it was a feel-good story.
It was a feel-good, and we want to leave.
If you want to feel good about America, you watch the morning shows. You don't watch this, you know.
And
we were joking earlier. If that kid's story about the graduation was late night, that would have been a whole different story.
What do you think?
He's still missing. We can't find him. All we found was his hat. But you watch in the morning. It's great. It all worked out. He got his own personal graduation. Like, I was in such a great mood. Look how yellow this couch is. It's like the sun.
All right, I do have some sad news here, and this really is sad news. I lost another advertiser. Now, if you're a fan of the podcast, you know this shit happens all the time to me. All right, there's people that, you know, they don't quite appreciate my colorful way that I try to sell the products. But these people, they hung in there for a long time, and they finally had enough of me. And I just want to thank them for being on the podcast. I had a great time reading their copy. Farewell to Sherry's Berries. Evidently, I finally went too far where I somehow made a Klan reference while reading about chocolate-covered strawberries. I thought it was funny. You know? I was with Harris Stan, and he, you know, I guess if I was by myself and I made the Klan reference, it would seem weird, but I was in the room with another black guy. Not another black guy, with the black guy, right? With another guy who was black. That's how I was trying to say it, right? So then obviously, well, doesn't that obviously mean that I'm just around? I don't know. I had a great time reading your shit. You're definitely welcome back anytime. Anytime you'd like to come back, we'd love to have you back. I love reading your copy. Your strawberries are delicious. But I get it. You know what I mean?
It's a very sensitive time out there. We have to really be conscious of what we're affiliated with, and God forbid the Grand Dragon starts with some goddamn strawberries. I don't know what people in advertising are. You know what their problem is? Is they're trying to please everybody. You know, and if they would just collectively, if they could just grow balls and just be happy with selling strawberries or Nature's Box, or whatever the is, your Blue Apron, all these people who walked off this podcast. If you would just focus on all the money that you know. Do you know what I would be like if I tried to make everybody laugh? Yeah, I would have a puppet. I don't know what I would have. I would work totally clean. I would, not saying having a puppet's bad, not saying working clean is bad, but I would stop. What happens is basically you step outside yourself, and then you start watching yourself, thinking, what do they want? And then the second you do that shit, you're done. All right? So Sherry's Berries, I think you're making a terrible mistake here. You know? But I'm letting you know the door is always open. I'll let you back in. Like a battered wife, you know, in a bad relationship. I'll let you back in, and then you can try to... What's funny about these advertisers, they always want to talk to me. And there's... The rule on the podcast is I don't talk to any of them. Okay? I'm not talking to you. This is just some bullshit I do to make people laugh and to promote my gigs. Okay, I'm not going to start having conference calls about chocolate-covered fruit. There's only so many hours in the day, you know? Anyways, happy trails, guys. All right? I'll still order you strawberries. No hard feelings. All right? Oh, you know what? These sons of guns, they sent me these sons of bitches. I said sons of guns because I was thinking about, Don't offend the strawberry people. Oh, look who's here. Look who's here. Was I too loud?
No. I text you because I
just close the door the whole way.
They sold the decorator. I was going to call her after I put the baby down.
You gonna call who?
The decorator.
Who's the decorator?
The
Oh, all right. Come on in. Come here. Do you know no more Sherry's berries?
I know. You burned that bridge.
What do you mean? I didn't burn the bridge. The bridge was on fire when they got there. I did the.
Oh, you're such a bad boy.
I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying like what I meant by that.
Get over yourself.
You're such an asshole. Why did I marry you?
What?
Why did I marry you? I always know when you're full of shit.
Because you were in love.
Nia, what I meant was I was already doing this shit when they got with me.
Mm-hmm. Don't try to change me, Sherry's berries.
This is right here.
Yeah, we get it. You're a dangerous comic. You never know what's gonna come out of your mouth. Ooh, what's he gonna say now? He's so edgy and controversial.
I'm not.
You are. And
I'm
you
not.
Love it. You love it. You love being like the outlier of the whole thing, don't you? You love it. Admit it.
No, I just know what I'm doing. Nia, I know what I'm doing.
Okay, what are you doing?
I'm reading advertising and people don't want to hear it.
So you're trying to make it fun for them.
So the show doesn't stop. You just keep around. If these dopes who sold shit understood that for 2 seconds, everybody on all these podcasts, you know what they do? They press fast forward. They blow right through it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It works.
Yeah. Yes. Of course.
It's a little late for that. Now that you trashed me, you dressed me down.
Yeah. Well, you'll be okay. Oh dear.
What are you doing, Nia? We're on the podcast. I can't listen to her crying.
I know. She's just.
That's the hardest thing, is when you set them down, they're totally fine. They're just crying, and they're trying to get you to pick them up, and you can't do it. Anyways.
Full sleep training.
All right. We ready here? Now that you've dressed me down here? Okay, Nate, you know what, Nia? You want me to read this copy straight?
Sure. Let's see. Let's see if you can do it.
I can totally do it. You want to bet?
No, I mean, you can do it. I just wasn't trying to be like that. But go ahead. Do it.
Okay. Man greats. It's hard to pick out the perfect gift, but all too easy to get it totally wrong. I like that. They fear right out of the bat.
Uh-huh.
Right out of the bat, right out of the gate.
You can't do it. That was the first line, and you can't do it.
No, but I didn't curse.
That wasn't what I was talking about. I was just talking about you.
Little beads of sweat forming on your forehead. Oh, my God.
You can't do it.
Can Man Crate somehow solve this solution?
You can't do it.
I can't do it.
Let's go.
This is how I watch TV. It's interactive. From the rugged outdoorsman to the sports fanatic and everything in between. I'm sorry. That's a small window. If you're going to go rugged outdoorsman, you should.
There's only two types of guys. Well, no, they did say everything in between, but those are the two ends.
Well, I guess if you go hunting,
fanatic.
If you go hunting, you don't really watch football, do you?
I don't know. I don't do either of those things.
What animal could you shoot?
None of them.
What animals do you eat?
Oh, I eat all of them. I mean, I eat the ones that you can eat.
So you're sort of like a mafia don, just having everybody do all your hits for you?
The only animals that I can kill are insects. And I would kill a possum.
You know, a lot of parts of the world, they eat insects.
Yeah.
It's a source of protein.
I kill them. I could eat...
Yeah, somebody else is around the world going, that's a nice little jalapeno popper spider there that you
I could
breaded and deep fried.
Possum, because that's my least favorite animal. I could also kill a raccoon, because I also don't like them.
You don't like varmints?
I don't like varmints, no. And I don't.
You like a black Yosemite Sam with a...
Who?
You. You're a female black Yosemite Sam. You don't remember? You little varmint. Remember that mustache would be flying around?
Cartoon. Yeah. Wait, can we talk about what a man crate is? They give you a crowbar, a personalized crowbar.
Yeah.
Like the kind of crowbar that you like break into a car with. That's what.
Why would you do that?
Isn't that what auto thieves use? Crowbars.
How would you know that?
I wouldn't. I'm just from the movies. Do they use
what movies?
Crowbars.
Do you break into cars when I'm on the road?
No. But isn't that a thing that you use a crowbar to like Jimmy the.
Oh boy.
Wait, that's
Yeah, you take the crowbar and you slide it in between the door and the window. Yeah. You just sort of slip that in there. Do you know what a crowbar looks like?
Is it like a wrench, like a big? You can't. That's not what they use.
I don't want to fat shame a crowbar, but it cannot fit. It cannot fit in that little area. That you have that little the
Slide it in
slim.
there and they.
Yeah, no, that's what do they call that thing? Is it a Slim Jim?
A crowbar.
That little thing you go down there and they just, and there's always it looks like he's jerking off.
Well, what is a crowbar used for?
What is a crowbar used for? It's used to open man crates.
Oh, and regular crates too? What about lady crates? Do they have lady crates too?
I don't know what they have. Yeah, it's probably vibrates too. All right. Oh, also Santa Steve Simone. The great Steve Simone and regular hero are raising money again this year for children fighting cancer and their families. Monday Morning Podcast listeners helped raise $15,000 last time around, and it had a huge impact on a lot of families. Their stories are brutal, and every bit helps. The goal this year is $50,000. We'll tweet a link today. Thank you guys so much. You've already been ridiculously generous this year, so thank you very much. All right, MP3 player. All right, Nia, you going to be in on this here? You going to help me out here?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't sound too enthused. Would you like your own microphone?
No. That's okay. I'll just use yours.
I think it'd be better if you had your own microphone. Talk to the people.
No easies.
Talk to the people for a minute. You're
people.
into fashion. Describe what I'm wearing right now.
Bill is wearing a pair of pajamas that I got him for Christmas. Not last year, but maybe the year before.
Last year.
Was it last year?
It was last year.
A pair of pajamas that I got him last year.
Oh, I don't have another mic.
And he looks like he's in that show, My Two Dads. That
3 sons.
Oh, My Three Sons.
I look more My Three Sons. Do 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 do.
Yeah, My Three Dads My Two Dads.
It was a porno.
It was an 80s show about a girl who had 2 dads for a reason that I can't really recall.
For the situation comedy of it?
Maybe her mom died and her mom wasn't sure which one was her dad, so they were both her dad. Or maybe she was dating one, but the other one was her dad. I don't really know, but it was My Two Dads, and I used to watch it.
Sounds like the jizz was flying around. All right, MP3 player. I know. What do you want? 3 player.